G'day, this is Audrey Auld here on Retrospectives with John Broughton on KC Radio 97.7 FM.
I've been through the wasteland, washed up on the shore, drowned in the bottom.
Welcome to Cranbourne.
Thanks.
Good to have you on board. How's the tour been going so far?
Oh, it's been great. I live in California now, so I've been in Australia for 5 weeks and have 1 week to go, sadly, before we go home. And I've been away 3 years, and you really do see Australia with fresh eyes when you've been away, and appreciate it it's just so much more. I've always loved this country, but just the colours are brighter, and people are very friendly and relaxed, and it's been lovely to come home, and been to about, 5 different states or something, and it's great.
You've already done one show of the Victorian leg of the tour. You did a house concert down in Rye the other day.
Yeah.
How did that go?
It was excellent. There was about 50 people in a barn.
You didn't get washed out? It was pretty wet on Sunday.
Yeah, there was a bit of rain, but everybody kind of was they had a good time. They had a few drinks and some food and some music, and it was really nice.
You've done a fair few house concerts, not only here but over in America as well. It's a huge scene over there, isn't it?
Yes, it's good. It's good because there's just so many people over there, and there's a lot of kind of diehard music fans, and it's a nice, intimate way of having an acoustic show. Usually there's no PA. I like them better when there's not. And you're just kind of in someone's lounge room or backyard or whatever, like some kind of place when they set it up like a concert, and just play some music. And they usually, what we call bring a plate, they call potluck, just bring some food and have a drink, and it's good because it helps you kind of build a fan base in an area. Say if an area's only got like a big theatre or a bar, and you don't want to, you're not going to pull enough to play in a theatre, and you don't want to play in a bar because it's like, there comes a point in your life where you just move on from playing in bars. A house concert's perfect because you've got a listening audience, and it's just like a word of mouth affair, really, and they're always music fans, so yeah, it's good fun.
Now, I was perusing the gig guides the other day. I don't know whether you saw this, but I saw one of the venues where you were playing on this tour, and next to your name, in brackets, were USA.
Oh, really?
I thought, my gosh, she hasn't been gone that long, has she?
Wow, that's funny, isn't it? Oh, that'll probably draw more people, though. You know what it's like. From America, it's better. Sometimes it seems to be the way in Australia.
I thought it was weird. I didn't think you'd been gone long enough that venues would start considering you a visiting American artist. I'm sure you don't feel that way.
That's funny. They should say Tasmania. That'll be overseas. That's where I'm from.
Do you think you've been writing a different type of songs since you've been away?
Yeah, I do. I've written a lot, and I think I got married and I'm happy, and previous albums have been more about, the wretched state of my life and my heart, and it's nice to kind of move on from that, from writing about yourself all the time. I think the living in America is a very political place, and it's a country at war. The environment is in a great state of imbalance and upheaval, and I think it's just more important to be looking at how we cope as human beings in the world with all the stuff that's going on outside of ourselves. It's the state of oneself is less important than how we're all going to cope and survive and get on as human beings.
Tell us about the spot where you live now in Northern California. I saw where you described it as a hippie central.
Yeah,
Is it like that?
Well, Summer of Love and the whole hippie culture has come from California, and the town that we live in is very much the place where a lot of the Grateful Dead band and kind of crew members have come from, and some of them still reside there. So yeah, there's a lot of people who've gone through that whole Deadhead, Janis Joplin, Summer of Love thing. They still talk about it, and they still kind of live that way, I suppose. And but a lot of them have kind of got richer as well. So it's an interesting area. There's kind of extreme wealth and extreme poverty, and we kind of fit there somewhere in between.
There's a thriving roots music scene there?
They call it Americana.
Yeah.
You know, that you don't hear that term roots music as much. I mean, there's a burgeoning Americana scene, and they have an association, and there are radio stations that report to an Americana chart. Because the country scene there is, I guess, means more that kind of commercial mainstream thing that comes from Nashville that's very slick and you know, more Toby Keith, Gretchen Wilson, Tim McGraw, Faith Hill ilk, you know, which is big budget all around. And then there's Americana, which is a lot more earthy. You know, maybe the acts aren't so pretty or so rich, or you know, but it's definitely very healthy. And just the songwriter scene, where we are particularly, is a very strong bluegrass scene. Obviously, Buck Owens and Mel Haggard have come from California, so there's sort of a honky-tonk country thing going on, but it's not like I've found a bar in San Francisco that has country music every Sunday afternoon, which you might find in Melbourne or Sydney. I haven't actually found that, not to say that it's not happening, but I haven't come across it. So I think it's more folk music is probably bigger than that kind of grassroots country thing like we might have here in Melbourne or Sydney.
What we're going to do tonight, we've got you here mainly to talk about the new CD, and we'll knock out a few tracks from that and get you to tune out a few live ones for us, if you wouldn't mind. We'll open with the opening track. Belinas, tell us about not only the song but the place. Yeah,
this is the town that I moved to when I moved to America. My husband and I lived there for a year, and it's a little town, very small. It's got one road in, and it sort of dead ends at the beach. And the locals, because it's only about 45 minutes from San Francisco, if it's a hot weekend, everyone from the city is looking for the nearest beach, you know. So the locals figured out that if they took the sign down off the highway that said Belinas 2 miles, then no one would know how to find the beach. So they did that, and so there's no sign to Belinas. They like to keep it private, keep it small. They're not allowed to build any more houses there. There's like big neon peace signs on the barns, but they're all kind of, there's a lot of restraining orders against each other in Belinas. It's a funny little town full of sort of peace and conflict at the same time, and I'm not really sure why. There's an Indian myth that you could go fish there but don't live there because it will send you crazy, and I think there's a grain of truth in that.
And you were asked to speak American at a store there.
I was told.
You were told to speak American?
I was told to speak American, yeah. And I'm learning to do that because they don't understand Australian too well.
We'll take that track and we'll get you to play a live one for us after that. What are you going to hit us with?
This is a song, I'm going to sing this for my sister Lynn and Richard tonight, who are at home listening in bed. And one of the things you miss most about when you live in the other hemisphere is your friends and family.
Stars above, they are not my stars. The faces show no trace of comprehension. They head south for the winter, but I'd be heading north. That was in a different place, and I'm a little off course. Half a world away, way down under. I wake while they sleep. Is it any wonder? Hear the gum trees are sad and barely whisper, 'cause like me, they'd rather be half a world away. The water flows the other way, or so I'm told. It's getting warmer at home, but here it's cold. Camille had a child, and Casey's engaged. Lisa was a bride, all passed away. But that's half a world away. Way down under goes on lonely nights, dream of mother, 'cause she knows I'd rather be half a world away. Half a world away.
Very nice indeed. A real yearning for home.
Yeah.
Homesickness still a problem?
Oh, you get it, you know, when you hear of births, deaths and marriages, you know, like either you experience that yourself or back home, someone goes through that, one of those things. You wish that you were there to share it with your loved ones, for sure.
Now, you recorded this CD back in Australia. Was that essential for you to get the feel and the sound that you wanted? Or was it more just a case of the people you wanted to work with were here?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I've always produced or co-produced my own albums, and I really wanted Bill Chambers to produce one and just have sort of full control, because he's great when he's just left alone. He does his best work when no one's standing over him telling him what to do. And I mean, he does a lot of production work, but sometimes people don't know enough to just let him alone, you know, and I've worked a lot with Bill, and certainly if I was living here in Australia, we would have done it together, but I trust him completely with my music, and so I just sent him a bunch of songs, and he picked them out, he picked the title, and so when I came over in January last year, I just went in with the band, and you know, we got great musicians over here. You know, a lot of people go to Nashville to make their album, but I think we have world-class musicians. You know, I'm very familiar with a lot of the ones that live on and around the Central Coast, and so I've worked with them a lot, and I know that I can just go in and have a good time, and they know how to interpret a song, and so it was really good to just do that, and then go back to America, and eventually, like a year later, it seemed to get a CD in the mail from Bill, and it was the album, and I was just really happy.
So I guess that would have delayed the process, because Bill's so busy with other things as well. That wasn't a problem with you? You were happy
No. It was. I knew that, and it was all about patience on my part, which is not one of my virtues. But I just put out a live album in the meantime with Nina Gerber, and so it was fine. It was totally worth the wait, and that was my whole approach, was I'll let him do it in his own time and not hassle him, you know.
Now, you mentioned the wonderful musicians here. Tell us about some of the guys on this set. Yeah,
well, Jeff McCormack is Casey Chambers' bass player, and has got the most amazing set of ears in the world. He plays bass with her, but he engineered my stuff and mixed it, which is... The mixing is like a crucial part of the process. Chris Haig is the bass player from Brisbane. He's played with everybody in the world, an amazing guy. Tim Weddy and James Gillard from The Flood play on it. Rachel Lee from the Lee family sings on it. She got in Australian Idol recently. Carl Brodie sings on it. Bill Chambers, of course. Who am I forgetting? Mick Allbeck on the fiddle. Yeah, I mean, just... great guys who make everybody else in Australia sound good.
You're going to play Down in a Hole. You mentioned the fiddle and the banjo on that.
And
really,
Rod McCormack, of course, on the banjo. He's excellent.
Really make that song. Was that a sound you had in mind already, or?
Yeah, I like to write songs that have instrumental breaks. You know, I mean, I'm just a rhythm player, but I grew up playing classical violin, which is all instrumentals, you know. And so I appreciate just letting people have a play and hearing good music, you know. So this is a song that I guess is pretty much an excuse to have some lead breaks and some really good picking.
Let's hear it. Going to play another live one for us, if that's
sure.
Okay.
I'll do one off another CD. Is that all right with you, John?
Absolutely.
This is one about where I grew up in Tasmania. This is from the Garage Sale CD, which I'll have to get you a copy. This song's called Mountain Home. I grew up on Mount Wellington. Fern Tree. Overlooks the Derwent River and the city of Hobart. The roots of my home place run deeper to a little cabin lost in the trees, way up high on a mountain, the bosom of my family.
Love filled the old wooden home place, fiddle playing, singing every day, dancing to Daddy's piano, friends and neighbors, one and the same. My spirit belongs on the mountain, neath tall trees in bracken and broom. Bury me there, no headstone, no tears. My spirit lives in my mountain home. The cabin burned down in '67. My mother saved my brother and me. We lost a place called heaven, and memories from over the sea. New home rose from the ashes, the blackened scars faded from view. Laughter once again, and strangers became friends. All around the new forest grew. My spirit belongs on the mountain, neath tall trees in bracken and broom. Bury me there, no headstone, no tears. My spirit lives in my mountain home. Now another family lives in the old place. Too many houses fill the lane. The rough and rocky track is now smooth and black. The home place will never be the same. Mother Mountain watches her children growing up and leaving to roam. Oh, bury me there, but don't shed a tear, for I'll be in my mountain home. My spirit lives in my mountain home.
Very nice. Do you get back to Tassie much in your travels?
Yeah, I went back in '05 when I was back here last time. My mum and dad still live there, but we had a big family wedding in the Northern Territory, so this particular trip, so I didn't go down to Tassie because everyone was in the Territory.
Okay. Now, you won something recently called the Chris Austin Song Contest.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, that was quite an honour, actually. It's held as part of a festival in North Carolina called Merle Fest.
Mm-hmm.
And Doc Watson had a son called Merle who died in a farming accident, and he played guitar with Doc Watson for many years. So it's named after Merle. And Chris Austin was a songwriter, and he played in Reba McEntire's band. Died in the plane crash that a lot of Reba's band members were in the 80s. And Gillian Welsh has won it in the past, and Tiff Demerit, and it's sort of held in quite high regard. And I won the country section. There were about 1,200 entries, and so I won a guitar and some money and some guitar strings, and yes, I was really chuffed, actually. Very
nice. And what song did you win that for?
Losing Faith.
Ah, excellent. Fantastic.
Yeah.
You're in good company there, some of those past winners.
Yeah, it's an amazing festival, beautiful.
Going to take in Last Seen in Gainesville. I read on the notes that you mentioned that song was one that haunted you till it was finished. Was it a hard song to finish?
No, it was. I had to, because it was just one of those. It was unrelenting. I was travelling from Austin, Texas, to Okema, Oklahoma, and stopped at a roadhouse, and was just having a browse around and window shopping at the Krispy Kreme donut stand, and saw a flyer on the wall that said "Missing Person, Last Seen in Gainesville," and whenever you see those posters, I always wonder, I think we all do, about what was the outcome of that story. Did the person turn up? What happened to that missing person? And why did they leave? And I guess all those questions were going through my mind as I set off down the highway, and this song came, and it would not go away until I'd finished it and I got to the hotel and I could pick up my guitar and actually play it. And it's one of those songs that is very much a mystery to me. It's sometimes when you write songs, and I'm sure you've heard this before, that it's like you're channeling something. It's not like you kind of made the whole thing up. It's very much that it comes through you and you're just the one that gets to write it down. And it's one of those kind of songs that I think, wow, did I write that,
Well, you sure did, and here it is. on Reckless Records. Are you actively looking for people to join the Reckless stable, or is just really if you come across someone who...
Not really.
No.
You know, I mean, the latest person that I helped out was a guy called Sam Baker from Austin, who has an album called Mercy, and it's incredible. You know, I mean, it's not often that I hear something that I think is just worth, you know, I mean, the little time and energy that I have, you know, that I can help someone else along. I don't have, you know, money to put into other people. It's just like sometimes I come across an artist and they just need a bit of help along the path because they don't know much, and I think they really need a bigger audience than what they have. So like Fred Eaglesmith here in Australia, it was really worthwhile releasing Fred here because he's toured here about 4 or 5 times and he's coming back and he's really building up a fan base here, and you know, I've helped the Yearlings and the Lees, Mary Gaucher, but you know, I mean, I'm working hard on my own career as well, so you know, I'm a songwriter first and foremost, and I'm out touring, so I'm not really like a record label person, but if I hear something that I know, you know, my fans are going to like, and you know, the radio contacts that I develop, and I know that they're going to like this album, then I think it's worthwhile helping that person get their music heard a bit more, and maybe they'll get signed up by someone with lots of money, you know, and they'll get further along their path, you know. That's my approach really, and I listen to everything that I get sent, but there's very not much stuff that I think is outstandingly unique, and you know, Sam Baker's writing is really incredible, and the production is beautiful, and it just floored me. You know, as soon as I heard it, I just went and bought more albums to give to other people because it was so good. And it's that sort of response that I have to have, you know, and you can't fake it. It's just got to be about great music.
Now, the shows you're doing around Victoria with Bill and with Dave Steele as well, what's going to be the format of the shows there?
I think we'll do some stuff together and some stuff on our own, and you know, I mean, Bill and I obviously have a big repertoire together, and I've played a little bit with Dave Steele, so it'll be great because it'll just I know it's going to be different every night, and it'll be lots of fun. And then the last show at Harmony Row Vineyard is with The Flood and Bill Chambers and Brent Parlane, so that's different lineup again, and that'll be great too.
Fantastic. So
yeah,
sounds like a pretty spontaneous show.
I reckon every show will be different. I mean, it always is. I mean, I don't like to do the same thing every night, and Bill's the same, and we'll just see, you know, whatever mood we're in on the night. You never know.
Could we squeeze one more live one out of you before we let you go?
Sure. Thanks, John. Well, I might sing Losing Faith, huh?
Fantastic. Yeah.
What about that? This is from the award-winning song.
The award-winning song.
I haven't won that much, but I'm proud to say I won for this one. I wrote this song. I guess there's a point when most women come to in their lives where they learn and accept that men are imperfect. You were an oasis when I was in the desert. When I got too close, you'd disappear. Then you'd leave me stranded, feed me drops of water, tell me it was wine and not to fear. And you gave me bread and fishes, spoke of burning bushes, and I drank your blood just to prove my faith. When I cried an ocean and I asked you to come over, you took a step and sank without a trace. You were singing my song, so I gave you a halo, but you preferred to wear a crown of thorns. I was your disciple, standing in your shadow. When you spoke, I hung on every word. And you gave me bread and fishes, spoke of burning bushes, and I drank your blood just to prove my faith. When I cried an ocean and I asked you to come over, you took a step and sank without a trace. Losing faith, saving face, trying to live in a state of grace, and you're not the reason I am. You
just a man. And there's nothing between us could ever move a mountain, nothing that could ever part the sea. Now I'm the one who's bearing the cross of your creation. I'll be crucified and you'll be free. But you gave me bread and fishes, spoke of burning bushes, and I drank your blood just to prove my faith. When I cried an ocean and I asked you to come over, you took a step, sank without a trace. There was I, losing faith, losing faith.
Very nice indeed. Very nice indeed. Now, what's in store after you leave us? Well, not tonight, but when you leave Australia, back home to the...
Yeah, going home, and I'm expecting to do a show at San Quentin Prison, actually.
Oh, wow.
I'm kind of, my passport's being checked as we speak. It's kind of, they've got to go through, see that if your grandmother was a convict or something, there's a whole check they have to do. But I do shows with an organisation called Bread and Roses, and it was started by Joan Baez's sister, Mimi Farinha, who has since passed away, but it's about... putting music into institutions, prisons, rehabs, homeless shelters. So we just go along and play a set of music, and it's really quite amazing, actually, because you meet people who you'd never really come in contact with. You might pass on the street and ignore, and here we are face to face, and so it's going to be quite interesting to go into a prison and play.
Well, doing the Johnny Cash thing.
Yeah, well. Yeah, and then I'll be releasing the album over in America and touring, and, travel and play music. That's what I do.
Yeah, fantastic. People can catch you at Manchester Lane on Thursday night at 8:30 with Bill Chambers and Dave Steele. The Limelight Lounge down at Geelong, which I've heard is a very nice venue as well. Meeting Hall on Saturday night, and Harmony Row Vineyard on Sunday in Kyneton. And then back home.
Yeah, and then back home.
Audrey, thanks for coming along. It's been a real treat.
Thank you, John, very much.
Fantastic to have you on board, and enjoy the rest of your stay in sunny Narre Warren.
For sure, and I'll see you next time.
And we're going to go out with Morphine, which has a very interesting history to it.
Yes. A friend of mine has this original handwritten lyrics to this song, and on his wall in a frame, and I was mesmerised. It's called Morphine, and at the bottom of the page it says, "This song is to be sung to the tune of Mother," which is an old song from the 30s, written by Bonnie Parker from Bonnie and Clyde.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic. We'll finish up with that one. Thanks again, Audrey.
Thanks.